Hey, this is Beau from Blessthefall, and you're listening to PureGrainAudio. Yeah, so the record, it's been out about a week now, and you know, it's hit 23 at the Billboard charts, and there's a lot of stiff competition out there, and we're lucky for a band like ours, you know, metal, more underground type band, to accomplish something like that. And I think there's a lot of versatility on this album. I think it's someone, if you don't really like metal, if you like pop or hip hop or R&B and stuff like that, I think we offer a little bit of all that with this record, with keeping in the same realm of our genre. So we're pretty proud of it. We made it so that you could listen to every single song on the album and love every song. But one of my favorites is Dead Air, and it was a single that we weren't planning on putting out before the record came out. And I think everyone in the band, and then we hit up the label and we're like, can we put this song out? Can we just I don't want any official release or music, there's always got to be a whole slew of things that go along with putting out a song. And they're like, if you guys really want to put it out, let's do it. So we threw it out there, and it's just a cool, anthemic, almost a upbeat rock song. It doesn't really constitute as metal. There are riffs in it and things like that, but there's no screaming involved and things like that. So I think that song specifically could be on a soundtrack or something. You know what I mean? And saying that, it's we don't write songs to go on the radio or to go on things like that. We write songs that we love, and if they happen to be that kind of song, then so be it. But yeah, that's one of my favorite newer songs yet. There's a song called Keep What We Love and Burn the Rest that was just sort of kind of an electronic interlude type thing, and that was supposed to be, it's just Elliot kind of put it together, and he loves The Weeknd and things like that, and these R&B bands, and so we're like, whoa, this is really I don't know, this is very not, us, let's say. And we ended up just throwing down some vocals for it, and we're like, this sounds awesome. This is really cool. It's something special. It's got this cool R&B vibe, and then we had our own twist through it. And actually, my wife did some background vocals that we cut up and kind of in a Purity Ring style going on there. So that song definitely was left field, and ended up being one of my favorites on the record. And I think a lot of people wish it was longer now, because it's only in a minute and a half. And it's supposed to be a cool interlude, and everyone's like, why isn't this a full whole song? We're like, oh, we didn't know if anyone was gonna really dig this. But yeah, so that's the black sheep of the record. Everything was different about this one as far as the writing process. We worked with with the co-writer for melodies and lyrics on this one, which every record it's 100% me, And this one was okay, well, we need to kind of step it up and step outside the box, and what can we do? And so we decided to kind of work with a couple co-writers, and Eric Ron ended up being the one we stuck with. And it was bringing in a sixth member, where I was like, all right, man, here's my lyrics, here's my melodies. And he'd be like, well, what do you think about this melody? I'm like, that's awesome, cool. And we rewrite the song kind of together. And so I think putting the egos aside, putting the pride aside, and working with him was probably one of the best things we could have done. And we just created something awesome, something new and fresh. And so that's a huge difference from the last few records. And I think there's just, like I said, there's more versatility with this album. I think that you could hear songs on the radio maybe, and if that happens, that's cool. But I think we got a little something for everybody, and we're proud of that. We went to the same producer as our last record, Hollow Bodies. We went to Joey Sturgis, and he's sort of a engineering god and a mixing god. He just takes what we have and multiplies it and makes this monster of sound. And so we love that about Hollow Bodies, and we're like, we need to go back to Joey. We need that aggressiveness, the heaviness to it. And so that's what's the same about the last record. And obviously we have a couple of the Blessthefall quintessential bangers that are in there, and you just need that, because we have fans that have been around for 8-9 years that still love that part of us, and so give them the riffs, you know, give them the heaviness, you know, and then and so I think those are some similarities from the last record or from the previous records. The main thing that helped write the last record, you could say helped because you know, it put me in a certain place was when I'd leave them, and I'd go into just being sort of depressed and being like having that separation anxiety and having the like almost the guilt of leaving her and stuff like that. And it helped actually write, you know, lyrics and put me in like a somber mood for a lot of the songs. It's hard to leave them, you know, and so a lot of the theme of the new record is about sort of being almost it's about being a ghost sort of and trying to reconnect with the people that you've left and loved and stuff like that. So I took that and been like, well, I'm trying to connect with my family while being in freaking Europe somewhere and having shitty Wi-Fi and not being able to FaceTime them or text them or something like that. And so I'm like, man, you know, like it almost feels like you're a ghost where it's like there's this memory of you and this like, you know, this feeling, but you can't quite touch them. You can almost get there. And so a lot of that came into play for the new album. And so while I hate leaving them, it actually helped get me, you know, put me in that mind space to write. Yeah, you know, I think it's a careful balance, I think, is what we're trying to figure out. I remember telling Eric and our guitar player and our manager about her, you know, I was like, we're pregnant, you know, and it was like, you know, our manager's very, like, he's got a daughter, so he gets it, and he's like, hey, nothing's changing here, you know, like, kind of don't be scared, you know, people have kids and they tour all the time. So it's a careful balance, and it's, you know, a lot of taking into consideration that I don't want to be gone for 3 months in a row. I want to go out and do my thing and do our thing and play, and I want to be home, you know, and I want to be able to bring them out or bring her out, you know, as well. So it's just more planning, I think, is involved, and you know, getting those days off so I can fly home or fly wherever the family is. And so it's just careful planning and taking my needs into consideration. You know, it's like I'm the lead singer, I get whatever I want, but no, it's like it's like you know, just realize that I am a human being I'm not just this like puppet on the stage that just goes, go on the road for 3-4 months, you know, come back, you know, go back out again. So we've had a lot of days off recently, so it's cool. Like we just had a 2-month gap right now, which is like the longest I think I've been home in years, and so I'm soaking it all in and I'm appreciating it. Yeah. The intensity's still there, but like I said the other day, I climbed, you know, at Warped Tour, I climbed the scaffolding like 50 feet or whatever, you know. The daredevil in me is still there, but I definitely am more careful. And there's been a little bit less like chance taking, you know, of gambling, where before I'll just be like, I think I could clear that, and then like run and jump and like almost make it, you know, or like just barely make it kind of thing. And so like on Warped Tour, I saved my stage dive to the last show, mainly because you're not allowed to, but also because I didn't want to like anything to happen. So the last day, I just like took that giant leap. It was up in Seattle, and I cleared like that. There's a huge gap they put in there, and everything was fine, and it's cool. And I actually have the video on my phone, and I'll show. And my daughter, like, she scrolls through all my videos, and she gets to that one and loves it. And loves it. She watches that one over and over of me stage diving. She goes like, jumping, Daddy. And I'm like, that's me, look. And she sees the whole crowd jumping and she laughs. So she likes it. Yeah, she likes it. Maybe she'll be a stage diver one day too.